They say lightning never strikes the same place twice. Yet every time I watch this one movie without fail, it strikes me like lightning to my very core. This movie is A Silent Voice, the genius film that always fascinates me with its beautifully accurate representation of depression, social anxiety, suicidal thoughts, and bullying that in my years of psychology research have never seen portrayed better in any piece of media. A Silent Voice begins with the main character Ishida as he thinks about throwing himself off a bridge. The scene has no tension or dialogue, showing that Ishida has stopped caring about his life. The only thing stopping him is the sound of fireworks and his regrets. We cut to Ishida about 6 years ago in the 6th grade. A new kid has joined his class. Her name is Shoko Nishimiya, and she is deaf. The directors and animators do an outstanding job with Nishimiya's character, since even though she hardly ever speaks, you know exactly how she feels through her body language alone, which is no easy task. Unfortunately for Nishimiya, the students and teachers in this school do not know how to deal with people that need extra accommodations. Because of this, her classmates begin to see her as a burden, and Ishida and some of his classmates begin to bully her. While most of the bullying is behind Nishimiya's back, Ishida goes all out. He mocks her and trashes her hearing aids while his teacher neglects this issue. Another teacher eventually comes in to try to teach the class about sign language so they can easily communicate with Shoko, but no one in the class chooses to. The only person willing to learn, Sahara, gets lumped in with Nishimiya, and her class bullies Sahara until she has to transfer schools. At this point, the bullying is at its worst for Nishimiya. But one day, Ishida takes the bullying too far and causes Nishimiya to bleed. While the principal is called to lecture the class about bullying, all the blame is put on Ishida. Now, something not so important but just a detail I wanted to share is that when Ishida and his mother are apologizing to Nishimiya's family, her mother returns with a bleeding ear. This is a type of apology where Ishida's mother cuts her ear to make up for Nishimiya's also getting her ear cut. Now that Ishida is framed as an outsider, he's bullied by his classmates and friends, and one day he walks into Nishimiya cleaning the mean comments off Ishida's desk. This confuses him. He can't understand why on earth, after everything he's done to this girl, why would she help him? Nishimiya, for around the third time so far in the movie, asks Ishida if he wants to be friends, which confuses him even more. He insults her and tries to grab her away from his desk. At this point, Nishimiya's had enough. She starts to fight back, and we watch this scene of two people who are in the same situation, who both want to understand each other, fight and cry, which makes this scene incredibly hard to watch. After the fight, the bullying Nishimiya faces gets so bad that she too transfers schools. Fast forward to the present, Ishida has nothing. No friends, and no will to live. The only thing keeping him intact is his regrets. All he wants is to apologize to Nishimiya, and after he tried to jump off that bridge, he has a dream where he meets Nishimiya and apologizes. After the dream, he decides to continue on living until he can apologize to Nishimiya. At school, Ishida has no friends, as I said, and also has social anxiety. The way they show this in the movie is incredible from a psychological standpoint. The cameras point down below the head, and when they do show someone's face, they have big purple X's on them to show that he can't look anyone in the eye. He also puts words in his peer's mouth, and he thinks everyone is constantly bad-mouthing him and encouraging him to die. One day biking home, Ishida runs into a boy named Nagatsuki, who's an awesome character by the way, getting bullied. After helping him, they become friends. After this, Ishida tries to meet Nishimiya, but he gets stopped by her sister Yuzuru, who knows about him and doesn't want Ishida to see Nishimiya. Yuzuru asks Ishida who he is and if he's friends with Nishimiya. Ishida is stumped by this. He only has one friend and doesn't really know what a friend truly is. He leaves. Later, he asks Nagatsuki what are the requirements to be considered someone's friend. This, Nagatsuki handshakes Ishida and says, "A friend defies logic or meaning, and any requirement can kiss my ass." To this, Ishida gains the confidence to visit Nishimiya again. After some struggle, Ishida and Nishimiya eventually have a conversation on a bridge. This introduces us to another metaphor often used in this anime, which is bridges representing connection with yourself, others, and your life. Nishimiya, being the forgiving person she is, seems to forgive Ishida, and they make plans to see each other again. Also, something cool I didn't notice, but it was made aware to me by a video by Kevin Nya, I hope I'm pronouncing that right, who made a video on how a silent voice changed his life, linked in the description, is that during their interaction, Ishida drops Nishimiya's old notebook that he planned to return to her, and it falls in the lake. Nishimiya jumps into the lake to get it, and as she's doing so, Ishida tries to grab her hand, but misses, which shows that Ishida is still so far away from Nishimiya, even though she's at arm's length. At this point, things start to look up for Ishida. He makes a lot of friends, and for the first time in years, starts having fun, but he starts to wonder if he truly deserves this. After everything Ishida's done in his past, does he deserve to make friends and have fun? He's still living his life in regret and negativity. And when a girl named Kawai, who he was friends with, reveals to the rest of Ishida's friend group that he used to be a bully, he immediately pushes them all away without hearing what they'll have to say, because he assumes they think he's a horrible person. Just like his friends in middle school, just like the way that to Ishida, everyone thinks. After the conflict, Ishida spends more time with Nishimiya and Yuzuru, and we start to notice Yuzuru's weird obsession with taking photos of dead animals and putting them all over her house. It's also revealed that the true state that Nishimiya is in. She still thinks of herself as a burden to her friends, and after all these years, but hides it away with a smile. This is called smiling depression, but I could never pick up on it even though I know all the signs and symptoms, because Nishimiya rarely talks, and I couldn't pick up on her body language until it was too late. This mindset is only worsened when Nao, who also bullied Nishimiya in middle school, tells her that she's the reason Ishida is in the place that he's in, and that everyone's life would be better without her. I believe that this was the tipping point for Nishimiya, and even though Ishida becomes aware of Nishimiya's mindset, it's too late. We now begin the part of the movie that completely broke me. Ishida and Nishimiya's family are at a festival, and the two get some time alone. Now, if you don't know, a common cliche in romance anime is one of these festival fireworks scenes, so I expected to just be one of those. But when Nishimiya leaves early to go study, it started setting off some red flags. The fireworks didn't last as long as they usually do, and it didn't really have that romance anime impact, but I dismissed it. But what happened next, I could never see coming. Yuzuru asked Ishida if he could go back to her house to get her camera, but when Ishida comes to the house, he sees Nishimiya on the ledge of the balcony. The fireworks that were supposed to bring them together now played in slow motion as their relationship is shred apart. I was caught off guard. How could I not have seen this coming? Why did I ignore the signs? All of this went through my head, but as the curtains of the window flew up and Nishimiya disappeared, I completely shut down. I closed my computer, got up, and started to walk around. As I said, I love psychology, and one of the things I've done the most research on is suicide prevention. I want to be able to help my friends if they need it, and watching this scene made me panic. Even though I knew it wasn't real, I still felt a spike of hopelessness and regret shoot through me. After around 20 minutes of calming down, I sat back down and finished the movie. Ishida manages to finally grab Nishimiya's hand, and he starts to pray. He promises that after this he'll look people in the eye, he'll listen to their voices, he'll do the right thing. He manages to take Nishimiya back into the house, but in the process he falls to the lake below. Before he falls, he thinks about Nishimiya, how he's sorry. Is she still mad? Man, I'm really messed up. He falls. He thinks of his friends, his family, his past, and Nishimiya, as his life flashes before his eyes, and he hits the water over 7 stories below him. The final part in the movie is something no anime will ever be able to replicate or compete with. As Ishida recovers in the hospital, the tables are once again turned. Nishimiya's mother apologizes to Ishida's mother, thanking her family for saving her daughter's life. Nishimiya tries to redeem herself as well. She wants to fix what she destroyed and gets all of Ishida's friends back together. When Ishida wakes up, he meets Nishimiya on the bridge where they first reconnected. He apologizes to Nishimiya and says probably my favorite line in the whole movie, "I want to help you live," as they finally, after all these years, truly become connected. When Ishida returns to his school, he's overwhelmed with anxiety. The whole school has heard about him falling off a building, and everyone is talking about it. He also can't bring himself to face his friends, who he shoved aside, but eventually rebuilds his friendships, and in the final scene of the movie, he learns to deal with his anxiety and depression. Now, mental issues like these aren't something that just magically go away by just being happy. There are things that you must learn to live with, and there's something so liberating when you finally figure out how. When we were first hit with the coronavirus, I became clinically depressed, but eventually I was able to push it aside, and this scene captures that feeling perfectly. The feeling of Ishida finally learning to deal with his anxiety and depression. As the screen pans out, and all the X's fall off of everyone's face, and shows each friend Ishida has made, and shows Nishimiya, and how they have all given him not only the will to live, but the freedom to truly enjoy that life. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I hope to see you again in the next one.